boost for Saskatchewan's booze business. What a national agreement to allow alcohol to flow direct to consumers could mean. A touching tribute at last night's Rider game, how two men killed in a crash are being remembered. And the end of an era in Prince Albert National Park.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. A landmark agreement signed in Charlottetown among premiers this week is easing regulations for alcohol retailers. Saskatchewan's booze industry is hoping for a boost to its bottom line. And as Keenan Sorokon reports, it could also have far bigger implications in the years ahead.
John Cote is raising a glass to much of the country opening up alcohol sales across provincial borders.
Now we're off to the races. Now we can legally ship across a provincial border.
On Tuesday, 9 provinces signed an agreement to allow direct-to-consumer alcohol sales between their provinces during the First Minister's meetings in Charlottetown. Black Fox has earned a reputation with some award-winning whiskeys and gins, which have opened up multiple international markets. But shipping a case to someone in Vancouver wasn't allowed. Now there's one less hurdle to share these products with those a lot closer to home.
We export to 6 different countries around the world, and we've always exported because it's actually simpler than going to different provinces. So now if we can even that playing field, now we can concentrate more on the Canadian market.
Distillers and brewers say this deal has been a long time coming, and while it mostly means opening up online sales, it's a step in the right direction to reducing trade barriers that are seen as outdated.
Very, very rigid, detailed rules from province to province. The general public has no idea that that even happens. But when they do hear that it happens, they just think it's absolutely crazy.
Internal trade talks have intensified over the last year when Canada's trade relationship with the United States became rocky. And Tuesday's announcement is giving hope other industries could follow.
This really is our government's moving in the right direction to create one economy in Canada as opposed to 13 separate markets.
Ramaswamy says another 7% of Canada's GDP could be unlocked by removing internal trade barriers as provinces continue to work closer than ever. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatoon man is one of 2 drivers who died following a crash in southern Saskatchewan. RCMP say 2 SUVs collided on Highway 39 west of Yellowgrass at about 9:30 this morning. Both drivers died at the scene. One has been identified as a 45-year-old man from Saskatoon. The other was a 76-year-old man from the United States. A passenger in one of the SUVs was taken to hospital. Her injuries are described as non-life-threatening. Investigators are working to determine what contributed to the crash. Another overpass has been hit by an oversized load in Saskatoon. The 51st Street overpass was struck at about 1:30 this afternoon. Police say a semi towing a trailer with a grain bin was traveling southbound on Idlewild Drive when the bin slammed into the overpass, knocking it off of the trailer. Engineers with the City of Saskatoon are assessing the structure. Traffic in the area was backed up as crews worked to clear the scene and determine the extent of the damage. Gas prices have jumped in Saskatchewan. Still, experts say drivers in our province are paying the lowest in the country at the pumps. Tensions in the Middle East are leaving global oil prices volatile, which is affecting gas prices here in Canada. The average price in Saskatchewan earlier today was over $1.72 a litre. Manitoba, Alberta, and Ontario are a few cents more per litre. Drivers in parts of the Maritimes are paying the highest in the country at more than $2 per litre. The number of active wildfires in Saskatchewan has jumped in recent days. According to the province's active wildfire map, as of this morning, there were 68 active fires burning in the province's north. 13 are not contained. Earlier this week, there were 55 active wildfires. Despite the increase in fires, the air quality advisory that was in place for most of northern Saskatchewan has been lifted. An air quality alert is now in effect for the southwestern corner of the province, with Environment Canada advising poor air quality will likely linger through the next several hours, but start to improve into the weekend. Well, Stacey, we aren't seeing the heat advisories that some parts of southern Saskatchewan are, but it was still hot today.
Yeah, Chantal, as you mentioned, parts of southern Saskatchewan, western Saskatchewan seeing some of those heat warnings. Saskatoon doesn't quite fall under those, but we can expect some more hot and muggy weather in the days ahead. Tomorrow, the Bridge City may see a humidex of 36, meaning it will feel closer to 36 degrees out. The UV index is also supposed to reach 7, which is quite high, so make sure you wear your sun protection. Now, we do have a few showers popping up on our radar right now. For the northern half of the province, fairly quiet, but we are expecting some potential storm activity tomorrow in that region, so I'll have more details on that and your full weather forecast later in the show.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders opened last night's game against the Edmonton Elks with a tribute to team captain Jayden Dalkey and 22-year-old Bhishma Rajaguru, who were both killed in last weekend's crash near Lumsden. A video paying tribute to both men before kickoff played. Rajaguru was remembered as a key member of Regina's music community, as well as a caring friend, devoted son, and loving brother. Dalkey, who spent 5 seasons with the Roughriders, was remembered for his hard work, positive attitude, commitment to those around him, and pride in wearing the green and white. The video tributes were followed by a moment of silence. The game was emotional from before kickoff to the final buzzer, ending with a loss for the Riders 36-34 against the Edmonton Elks. Donovan Mace has more.
A chance for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to pause.
We're keeping his family, his friends, and all those in mourning in his loss in our thoughts.
And mark the lives of 22-year-old Bhishma Rajaguru and teammate Jayden Dalkey prior to kickoff Thursday.
You guys make it a pleasure to come to work. Nobody else I'd rather do it with, guys. Let's go.
Tribute videos and a moment of silence for both men killed in a 2-car collision north of Regina last weekend.
It was well done by the organization, honoring both people, and obviously, tumultuous, strange week to navigate as a team, but I was proud of our team in terms of coming out and fighting.
And in one final act of honor to their fallen brother,
the Roughriders will have 11 on the field.
The missing man formation on the team's first punt of the night. Dalkey's spot on the field left unattended.
I was talked about a little bit through the week, and then, Nick Weeb came to my office. And he asked if it was okay.
That's JD's spot, right? I mean, he's the one calling the protections. He's the one making the calls. So we wanted to do something. Just the special teams unit.
An emotional game from before kickoff.
Harris, deep shots, got him to the 10-5 touchdown.
Turning into momentum swings in both directions for 60 minutes. Over 1,000 yards of total offense, 70 points combined, and 9 lead changes. All to come down to the final play. A 57-yard walk-off field goal by Elks kicker Vincent Blanchard, breaking the hearts of the Roughriders.
I'm probably going to be waking up all night thinking about the last play.
We knew that team would play to the very end. We know that makeup is obviously the same as us. And it did. It came down to the very last play of the game.
I'm proud of the way these guys battled today. I love everybody in this locker room, and shake back next week.
Not getting the result they wanted in their first game since Dalkey's death, the Riders turn their heads to next week when they will get another crack at these very same Elks. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
In a statement to the Canadian press, Jayden Dalkey's family said he was deeply loved and will be missed beyond words. The family also offering condolences to Rajaguru's family and to first responders affected by the crash. They ask that anyone wishing to honor Dalkey make a donation to the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation in his memory. The family is asking for privacy as they grieve their loss. The jury has presented its final recommendations as the inquest into a Saskatchewan man's death following his arrest concluded. Jasmine Pelche reports on what the jury would like to see in similar circumstances in the future.
Bowden Umperville died in hospital following a 2023 arrest by Prince Albert police. At the end of a 5-day inquest into the incident, the jury made 4 recommendations that could prevent similar deaths in the future.
The process was fair, and if it was simply a numbers game, there was maybe more lawyers on the police side, but life isn't just determined by numbers. I thought the evidence was treated fairly and the jury was fair, so I have nothing critical to add in that regard.
The jury recommended mandating body cameras for Prince Albert police, having one responder stay with the patient from the moment of arrival when medical emergency teams are on site, making it mandatory in traffic stops to have the key turned off and removed, and improving training on asphyxia. The police service says it has added tactical first aid training in the last few years. Deputy Chief Farrika Prince says it would be challenging to make mandatory key removal a part of traffic stops, but that the service may look at alternate safety strategies used by other organizations. Implementing body-worn cameras is one of the service's long-term goals, and it was a recommendation the deputy chief was expecting to hear.
There's a huge appetite for it. We see the positive outcomes due to body-worn cameras, across the province, across the nation. It really is just a matter of finances right now.
The jury concluded the cause of death was asphyxia and cocaine use causing a cardiac arrest that led to significant hypoxia of the brain, and opted to classify Umperville's manner of death as undetermined.
If there was more evidence, then things would be more decipherable.
It remains to be seen how the recommendations may be implemented. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
It's the end of an era at Waskesiu in Prince Albert National Park. The last of the community's historic shack tents have been replaced. As Carla Shinkerick reports, in a town steeped in nearly a century of tradition, those simple cabins hold a lifetime of memories for generations of visitors.
There was a feeling that we shouldn't have any of these buildings at all.
This is Mona Finlayson, a lifelong seasonal resident of Waskesiu. She's talking about the shack tents. Prince Albert National, the only park in Canada that had them in this way.
So it's very unique. A wooden floor in 2 sections, then the 4 walls, and then a canvas tarp.
Dismantled for the off-season. These started popping up in the late 1920s, 400 of them at times.
This picture of my mom and dad.
Finlayson has been coming up here every year since she was a baby. That's 88 summers. Even though she's in a different family cottage built in 1946, the shack tents still hold a place in her heart. There was a strong sense of community, she says, with a communal kitchen when it was too hot to cook on the wood stove.
If it wasn't raining, especially like in the morning, you could hear like squirrels or birds, and you could see the shadow of them.
This museum holds stories that stretch back to early Waskesiu of the late 1920s.
This is not just a model that has been scaled down.
Curator Gillian Manchester gets to see the reaction of those seeing it for the first time.
Maybe a little bit of disbelief that an entire family would have spent their time in the building.
Earlier this summer, the last original shack tent was moved out, marking the end of a chapter that spanned about 100 years. For those who experienced these cabins, whether it was in the original form or later with more permanent roofs that were left up all year, it's nostalgic.
As they walk through the door, you can see the memories flooding back to them.
Finlayson feels a sense of responsibility to share her story.
That's one of the reasons I volunteer at the shack tent, to let people know what shack tent life was like and how much fun it was. Still, at 88, I still consider myself a Waskesiu kid.
Carla Shinkerick, CTV News, Waskesiu.
The Saskatchewan NDP is calling on the provincial government to be more transparent following a leak of what the party calls a scathing report on healthcare in Lloydminster. Jacob Carr with those details.
Leaders from Lloydminster joined the NDP at the Legislative Building, claiming that the provincial government has been hiding a report on health services needs in Lloydminster.
Families have been telling anyone that would listen that their healthcare system in Lloydminster and region is under enormous strain. But truly what is shocking is how clearly and comprehensively this report confirms those concerns.
In an emailed statement, the government of Saskatchewan said it is aligned with Alberta in its commitment to work together to provide consistent and high-quality healthcare services for the border city. The province going on to say that it has made significant investments since the last needs assessment was completed in Lloydminster, including a new dialysis unit to serve 24 patients, creation of a third operating room, 44 new living spaces at Pioneer House, and 60 new continuing care spaces. But some residents disagree with the government's assessment.
What was reported in 2013 wasn't addressed and needs to be addressed, only more addressed. It's fine to build hospitals, but if you don't have people and services to go with those hospitals, you've got a problem.
On top of the lack of staffing mentioned by Dunn, some of the issues in the report highlighted by the NDP include the hospital no longer being adequate, the closure of its intensive care unit, ER wait times, and a lack of mental health services. A summary of the report's findings was released by the government in June, which says local needs are largely being met by existing service levels, and the report will be used by both provinces to inform clinical planning and priorities. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The global transportation hub near Regina has faced criticism over the years for its high cost and low land sales. But now the majority of the more than 1,800 acres are sold, and there are plans in place for future growth. Wayne Mantika reports.
It was an opportunity that the GTH didn't want to pass up. Nearly 3/4 of adjacent property on a spur line connecting to CN and CPKC tracks.
This acquisition is not about acquiring more land. It's about maintaining the strategic asset of dual rail connectivity for both CN and CP. And so this site will be very attractive to other value-added processing users and other large-scale investments.
Cargill had purchased the property to build a rail link to its new canola crush facility. It needed only a narrow strip crossing 3/4 of farmland, but was forced to purchase the entire package. Most of the land was surplus to Cargill's needs.
Unless a farmer wants to subdivide their land, which is not normally the case, they will almost, if you're commercially negotiating something, they'll want to sell you that whole half section or section of land that's necessary to build that infrastructure.
The GTH paid Cargill $10 million for the 418 acres. It will be added to GTH land holdings that were 75% sold out.
We're going to extend this to people who need rail access, and with the amount of utilities that we have in the area that were brought in for Cargill, it's going to be really attractive.
The global transportation hub had started out with close to 2,000 acres, but had sold all but 450. The latest rail and land acquisition will double the amount of property available for development and continue to spur economic growth in the Regina area. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Road restrictions will be in place next week in the Broadway area as the Fringe Festival gets underway. The city says traffic restrictions will be in place on 11th Street East, Dufferin Avenue, and 12th Street East starting Monday until Monday, August 10th. Broadway Avenue between 10th and 12th Streets East will also be closed Saturday, August 1st to Monday, August 3rd. The city is advising drivers to follow the detour signs. Still to come, the latest tariff threats and who's expected to be hardest hit. Also, the opening of a cross-border bridge. Who was not invited to the party? You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. The Trump administration is showing it is determined to continue its tariff agenda, imposing a new global tariff designed to take the place of a temporary 10% tariff that expired today. The replacement tariffs will apply to goods from Canada, the European Union, and nearly 60 other countries. Judy Trin on how it affects Canadian businesses and the justification behind it.
Come with me.
The Prime Minister in Newfoundland promoting domestic tourism as the U.S. unleashes new tariffs on 60 countries.
Even if you're a country that probably doesn't have forced labor yourself, if you're allowing the import of goods made with forced labor, that makes it harder for my goods to compete because we're following labor rules in the U.S.
The Section 301 or forced labor tariffs of 10% replaces the previous global tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court.
I thought the decision by the Supreme Court was not a good one. But we have many forms of tariffs.
The forced labor tariff will impact Canadian goods not covered under CUSMA. The federal government says it's unjustified.
There is no daylight between us and the U.S. On our resolve to end forced labor. And we have actually active legislation on the House of Commons floor to take the next steps on that. We were not surprised.
This is about leverage rather than about law.
The majority of Canadian exports will not be impacted by the 301 tariffs, but this professor of international law says smaller businesses will feel more pain.
More and more small and medium-sized Canadian businesses found that when they wanted to get certified that they would be exempt, that they weren't. Those are the people that are going to be affected yet again.
Donald Trump has threatened to levy broader and bigger 50% tariffs on Canada in August. Meanwhile, today, he once again threatened to issue new tariffs over wildfire smoke. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada held a subdued celebration today to mark the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, one spanning the troubled political waters of Canada-U.S. relations. Canadian officials from all three levels of government attended the event in Windsor, Ontario, but there were no U.S. representatives, highlighting the tensions over tariffs amid renewed taunts from Donald Trump. Adrian Gabriel reports.
A ribbon cutting a quarter century in the making.
Behind us stands one of the most significant infrastructure achievements in Canada's history.
Billed as a towering beacon of trade and prosperity, the Gordie Howe Bridge spans 2.5 kilometers. It cost Canadian taxpayers $6.4 billion, and it took more than 20 million hours of labor. As the sun shined down on today's proceedings, clouds of controversy swirled.
We prepare to welcome first crossings on Monday.
Okay.
While literally bridging two nations, only one anthem was sung on this day.
And President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month, but Team Canada has never been more united.
The glad handing scheduled between Canadian and U.S. government officials, originally planned, put on ice amid a renewed tariff dispute.
We all know who that person might be if we were going to check, if Gordie was going to check one person into the board.
President Trump posting on his Truth Social account today that Canada disinvited the U.S. to the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which is fine, considering that they are paying substantial tariffs to the U.S., but the original deal on the bridge, which was terribly negotiated by a previous administration, no longer stands, though the original deal was between Canada and the state of Michigan.
These agreements are in place.
A group of kids broke the ice with a game of road hockey on the bridge, even though some of the sticks in hand have been slapped with a 50% tariff by the Trump administration. The focus on this day was also on the bridge's namesake, one of Canada's greatest sporting exports to the U.S.
He wouldn't be happy with the tensions that are going on.
Your father was a fiercely proud Canadian. What message would he have for the current trade turmoil between the U.S. and Canada?
Get together, have some common sense, work it out.
While 30-plus members of the Howe family deservedly soaked in the occasion, on this day, fault lines in the cross-border connection forged in Canadian and American steel have emerged. Even with a clear road ahead, the future path for this trade route, now spanning troubled waters, remains murky. The contentious crossing is finally scheduled to open to cross-border vehicle and pedestrian traffic this coming Monday. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Windsor, Ontario.
WestJet is allowing some passengers to rebook their flights at no charge as their flight attendants threaten to go on strike. The airline says anyone with a flight booked between July 30th and August 4th can either cancel or change their flights once for free. It says it's committed to providing passengers with great flexibility and confidence in their travel plans. WestJet says negotiations with the union representing its cabin crew are progressing. If a deal isn't reached, the 4,400 union members could strike as early as August 2nd. An entire village in the BC interior is now under evacuation order as an out-of-control wildfire threatens the community. People from more than 400 properties in Clinton and the surrounding area have been told to leave. The province is experiencing power outages, in some cases far from the flames. BC Hydro says smoke and ash from the wildfires may be causing flickering lights and power fluctuations across the province. BC is battling more than 100 wildfires. To the Middle East, where there is no let-up in the fighting between the U.S. and Iran. The Americans say they conducted a 13th straight night of strikes. Hours later, drones targeted a city in northern Iraq where U.S. forces are stationed. 5 of the UAVs were shot down. No injuries or damage were reported. Bahrain reported it also intercepted Iranian aerial attacks, but did not say if there were any casualties or damage. Donald Trump said today he doesn't think China or Russia are participating in the Iran war, but the U.S. president warned that if they did get involved, it, quote, would be very bad for them. All right, Stacey, warm would be an understatement to describe the forecast.
For sure. Even right now, Chantel, current temperatures right now in Saskatoon, 27. That's even warmer than our seasonal highs. So it's warm and it's just going to keep getting hotter in the weekend ahead. Saskatoon 27, Prince Albert 27, and the Battlefords 27, mild winds. So might be considered a beautiful evening if you're in air conditioning or you just like the heat. Our high today was 29, 4 degrees warmer than our seasonal high. Now the record high was 37. That was set in 1959. The record low was 3, set in 1911. Now the sun went up at 5:15, and it will go down 9:10.
Coming up, cattle concern, what some say is an utterly ridiculous situation on the farm.
Summer blockbuster has been extended at Regina's Kramer IMAX Theatre. Monday on Your Morning, we're taking you behind the scenes at one of only 41 theaters that can show the film version of The Odyssey.
Taking a look at our sky cam now. Again, a beautiful evening if you're in air conditioning or you just enjoy the heat. Mild winds, temperatures right now at 27. So nice time to enjoy your Friday evening before the weekend. Again, things will heat up. For now, let's take a look at our radar. Fairly quiet conditions for the northern half of the province. Southern half of the province, we're seeing some light showers there. Nothing significant at the moment. Now taking a look at our current temperatures. Again, 27 in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, Battleford, some mild wind. Our hot spot today, Val-Marie, 36. Our cold spot, Collins Bay at 11. Currently, it's pretty much hot across the board here. 28 in Estevan, 27 in Regina, Yorkton a touch cooler, 22, Prince Albert 27, 26 in Kindersley, Rosetown 24 in Watrous, Wynyard 26 in Hudson Bay, 25 in Nipawin, Waskesiu 27. Hey, Great Lake weather, I guess. Meadow Lake 28 as we go north, touch cooler there, significantly cooler in Stony Rapids. 18, Sandy Bay, Island Falls, 17, South End, 16, 15, Collins Bay, L'Orange, Buffalo Narrows, a little bit warmer, 24 moving south. It's hot. East End, 30, 32 in Maple Creek, Assiniboia, Weyburn, Carlisle, temperatures in the high 20s. Broadview, Indian Head, 25. 22 in Melville, 24 in Last Mountain. Taking a look at our futurecast now, some pretty active weather areas north of Prince Albert. That's associated with some rain, so that will be good news for the areas affected by fires. However, we must note There is a risk of storm activity and thunder with that, so it is something that we are keeping a close eye on. For areas south of Prince Albert, pretty clear sky across the board there. Watches the morning. Again, those heat warnings in effect for southern Saskatchewan and parts of western Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, not quite in that range, but still quite hot for us tomorrow. La Ronge, 27, 21 in Stony Rapids, 27 Buffalo Narrows. Risk of thunderstorm and some rain in Key Lake, 22. Sunny across the board in Meadow Lake. Spiritwood, Kindersley, Rosetown, temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s there. Sunny again in Maple Creek, 36, Leader, 34, Outlook, 32, and 33 in Swift Current. Yorkton, Regina, Moose Jaw, and Estevan, 34, temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Melfort, 29. With that humidex, it could feel closer to 39, so be mindful of that. Watrous, Humboldt, 30. Hudson Bay, some showers there, 29. Keep an eye on the humidex. A few clouds in the Battlefords tonight, a low of 15. Tomorrow, a chance of showers, a high of 31. Sunny across the board after Saturday. We have Sunday, a high of 27, a low of 12. Heading back into the work week, temperatures in the high 20s. For Prince Albert tonight, we have a chance of showers, and that trend continues into tomorrow, a high of 30, a low of 16. Now Sunday, touch cooler, 26, a low of 13. Monday, 27. Mix of sun and cloud there. In Saskatoon tonight, a low of 16. Air quality considered moderate at 4, and a clear sky. Sunny tomorrow as well. Moderate air risk, a high of 32. And taking a look at our forecast, again, if you like the heat, it's good news. We have lots of sun in the forecast. Temperatures in the high 20s to low 30s. Overnight lows in the mid-teens. That's something to be mindful of. But if you like the heat, again, a beautiful forecast in the week ahead.
No shoes in the south in the sun, running around with my tattoo.
Shania Twain is out with a new album. She performed the song Dirty Rosie this week on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. The song is from her new album, Little Miss Twain. It's the Grammy winner's 7th album, which is being billed as her most electric and autobiographical to date. Spanning several genres, Twain says the album is giving fans a taste of where she came from and how that shaped her point of view.
I say to you, sir, Merry Humbug! Merry Christmas! Humbug! And a Happy New Year! Humbug!
Johnny Depp is making his return to the big screen, taking on a classic role in a reimagined version of A Christmas Carol. Depp will be playing Ebenezer Scrooge, the crotchety protagonist from the Charles Dickens tale. He'll star alongside Rupert Grint, Daisy Ridley, Ian McKellen, and others in Ebenezer. The trailer says it features a name you know and a story you don't. It's out November 13th. American stand-up comedian Jerry Seinfeld received a personalized gift from the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens this week. The personalized sweater with the number 1 was given to the comedian by Martin St. Louis, who says watching the comedian's 90s sitcom Seinfeld helped him relax in the middle of an intense playoff push earlier this year. Seinfeld performed in front of a sold-out crowd in Montreal yesterday as part of the Just for Laughs festival.
All right, Stacey, picks of the day have been rolling in. It's always hard to decide.
Yeah, you know what? The common theme right now is heat, but keep sending us your photos. We always like having lots of options to choose from, but our first photo here is sent in from Charlotte Funk. She says, here, fishy, 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 wonderful way to spend a day at Sled Lake. I think it must be, the fish must be good. They're all just coming to his hook. He probably doesn't even have to wait. Good fishing there. Well, it looks very nice. Okay, now to our next photo. This was sent in from Ella McPherson. She says, my brother at Prudhomme enjoying the view. Again, sorry if I butchered the name of that community, but looks like a nice way to spend the day enjoying the weather. Not quite sure what he's doing or what he's looking for, but you know what? It looks like a beautiful view. Okay, and our last photo here. This is sent in from Lisa Pillar in Humboldt. She said she captured this interesting creature on one of her peonies, and just before she got a different angle or a close-up shot, it flew away. She said she tried to look it up online, but she couldn't find out what it was. But regardless, it was a great shot, Lisa. Thank you for sending that in. And if you want to send in a photo,
We'd love to see it. Jeff always appreciates a good photo. You can send it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and a subject line with pick of the day is always appreciated.
Still to come on CTV News, efforts to rekindle a relationship among cattle. The drama at one Canadian farm that makes for a moving story. After a wedding ceremony last year, 2 miniature Highland cattle in southwestern Ontario have welcomed a calf. But as CTV's Alexandra Hollick tells us, just like with human relationships, the pair have had to overcome some serious hurdles.
It was just over a year ago that Muriel and Rhett joined together in holy matrimony for a first of its kind cow wedding. Hosted at Utterly Ridiculous Farm in Oxford County, the nuptials drew big crowds and produced a big bundle of joy.
We have the most beautiful little baby Joe from the two of them.
Baby Joe was born in March, happy, healthy, and with his best hoof forward.
You would think happy ending, everything is perfect, but like in any relationship, there were some struggles. Rhett, unfortunately, has had an affair with Muriel's best friend, Cookie. And we know this without a doubt now because she had a baby.
When Ginger Snap was born earlier this month, the two-timing bull was put out to pasture.
I've been talking to Rhett about rebuilding trust and what it takes for a long-lasting relationship. It's going to take some time.
The couple is back in the same corral for now.
Muriel, is there any chance that you'll take Rhett back? It's too soon to say.
In the meantime, the farm has seen a boost in visitors, hoping to catch the cast of four-legged characters, all with their own personalities.
We've named it Days of Our Livestock because that's just what it's become. But we have seen a lot of people coming really wanting to meet the couple, which has been really nice to see.
The hope here on the farm is that Muriel and Rhett will move past this and go on to greener pastures with baby Joe and the rest of their growing family. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Oxford County.
When we come back, the Saskatoon Mamba and their successful season, and later a winter favorite in the summer heat.
Here's what's happening in our community. The Saskatoon Pro Tennis Classic 2026 is underway at Riverside Badminton and Tennis Club. This is professional women's tennis with international players competing for prize money and WTA ranking points. The Man Art Gallery in Prince Albert is holding a plein air drawing workshop on Wednesday, July 29th between 6:30 and 8:30. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Taking for time for our rural forecast, broken record. It's going to be hot tomorrow, basically. Very sunny, though. Again, if you like the heat, it's very nice out. But we have 30 in Wynyard, 32 in Outlook. Humidex looking closer to 37. Kindersley, 32. Lloydminster, 29. 29 in Spiritwood, 29 in Meadow Lake. 31 in Watrous, 29 in Melfort. Some rain in Hudson Bay, and again with that humidex, it's going to be significantly hotter, so just keep that in mind. Maple Creek, 36, East End Cypress, 34, 36, and sunny in Rockland. Coronach, 36, Carlisle, Broadview, 33, Kenora, 31, Lumsden, Pilot Butte, Assiniboia, 34, and Rosetown, 33. Again, UV is also supposed to be high, so wear your sunscreen. And stay cool out there. Time to look at our elbow forecast now. It's going to be 32, mainly sunny. It's going to feel like 37 again with that humidex. Keep that in mind. Very mild winds. Elbow is also where you can get internet plans up to 1 gigabyte available from SaskTel.
Drilling has begun on a new potash project northeast of Regina. The Buffalo Potash Corporation is operating the site near Disley, near two other existing solution-based potash mines. Buffalo has now drilled 2 wells to build the company's geological understanding of the site and to support a feasibility study for 2 other projects nearby. The initial site is expected to produce 125,000 tons of soluble-grade potash annually. An expansion of a processing plant in eastern Saskatchewan is now open. The Louis Dreyfus Company has been operating in Yorkton for about 17 years. This week, it is celebrating its expansion that will allow for pea protein processing and bring its canola crushing capacity to 2 million metric tons. It will also provide an additional 140 jobs.
We now deal with over 5,500 producers in our local draw in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and has been really critical to our success. The location has also been very good from a demand standpoint in being able to ship to many points within North America, whether it be in the U.S., West Coast or East Coast. Yorkton has been ideal from a logistical standpoint.
LDC says it is already looking into another expansion of its Yorkton facility. In their first season under their new name and logo, the Saskatoon Mamba have qualified for the CEBL postseason.
The second blocked by Bediako. Monsanto, Bandu! Welcome to the playoffs!
Damari Monsanto led the way with 26 points for the Mamba in last night's game, while Jaden Bediako had 3 blocks to beat Brampton 98-92. Secondary players helped out last night as the Mamba had 36 points from the bench. The franchise has not been to the playoffs since 2022. Saskatoon heads to Vancouver Saturday to face the Bandits. CN Rail reported financial results with revenue up 11% in its latest quarter. Morella Fernandez with those details.
Revenue for the second quarter was $4.75 billion, and that beat expectations. American tariffs and tariff threats have been an overhang for Canadian National. Still, Canada's largest rail reported higher revenue on grain and fertilizer shipping, as well as petroleum and chemicals. Controlling costs has also helped CN. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down to $70.92 U.S. West Texas Intermediate down over $3 to $89.34 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to $71.94. And the TSX gained 176 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just over $1.77 a litre. The lowest price in town has risen to $1.64.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day down at $123.87, and Nutrien was also down. Coming up, the birthday bash meant for one special monkey. Then, how's this for a summer skate?
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV. Well, a monkey that stole hearts around the world is celebrating his first birthday this weekend. We all remember Punch becoming an internet sensation after photos surfaced of him clinging to a plush orangutan toy from IKEA for comfort after being abandoned by his mother. Punch is currently at a zoo in Tokyo, which says he is growing well, in good health, and is now playing with others. Ahead of his big day on Sunday, the zoo has around 2,500 birthday cards for the monkey on display. That's very nice that people did that.
Did you write him a birthday card?
I didn't. I didn't know that was a thing. So maybe for his second birthday.
Yeah. Next year the CTV crew will send him.
Send him a card. Decorate a card and send it. Well, it might be the middle of summer, but people are being invited to strap on their skates outdoors in Kitchener, Ontario. The synthetic ice rink has been set up outside a restaurant there. It's free to the public. People just have to bring their own skates. Staff at the restaurant say it could be a way for parents to squeeze in a bit more patio time while their kids hit the ice. And in case you're wondering, Stace, it was 26 degrees in Kitchener today. So imagine skating
the
at
ice,
26.
Yeah, that would be quite warm. The ice.
Synthetic, so I think it's holding up.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that here. That can be our project next week.
A true test, absolutely, because it is going to be warm.
It's going to be very hot out. Again, just looking at the forecast, sunny throughout the day, 12 p.m., 27. Again, our humidex, though, is 36, so it's going to feel closer to 36. So it's going to be quite muggy out, Chantal, tomorrow.
Absolutely. It's quite humid this year.
If you have air conditioning, you enjoy the heat, it's welcome news.
Absolutely.
If you don't, maybe not then.
Yeah. Well, it was quite warm at Ag in Motion near Langham the last few days. That's where producers were able to get in on the latest technology and trends and discuss issues impacting them. Ag in Motion began Tuesday and wrapped up yesterday. We'll leave you with some of the highlights from this year's event. Have a happy weekend. Thanks for watching.